cultivate merits, that's what we're doing, is we are raising our value. Wherever we go, when we are value added, people will really help you because you have merits, because you have value. But in order to get there, it isn't for free. We have to sacrifice our resources in order to cultivate merits. For example, you want to do charitable giving. You have to take money out of your own pocket to donate. And so that $100, $500, whatever amount that you're donating is less than what you would have had, right? That money is going to somebody else to help them. You could have used that money to buy a new gadget, to go on a vacation, or to treat yourself. But you sacrifice the resources to help others. So it's not easy to cultivate merit. It is easier said than done because you have to sacrifice your resources. You want to volunteer, you want to help tutor students. You have to spend time tutoring them. You could use that time to benefit your own, but you rather use that time to help somebody else because you want to cultivate merit. In business, it's called the cost of doing business. For example, if you want to acquire a new business, you have to put together a new proposal. The customer, your client, is not going to pay you to generate that proposal. You will have to generate your own proposal. You have to pay your employees, your team to spend time putting together that proposal. That cost is not going to be paid for by your customer. You're going to have to absorb that cost first, and it's called the cost of doing business. Why would anybody want to spend up that cost? Well, because the end result will be much more. You're going to spend a couple of $100,000 to put together a good proposal, and as a result, proposal you win, you will have that business worth maybe a couple of $1 million. And this is good for you, it's good for your employees, it's good for your company as well. Why would you want to spend that cost up front? Well, because the benefits, the rewards are much more. So similarly, why would we want to spend our resources? Why would we want to pull out $100 to donate? Well, because the results are much more. Just like an apple seed. You have a single apple seed. When you plant it, you take care of it, you water it, and it grows into a tree, and it produces hundreds of apples. Although we sacrifice our resources to cultivate merit, but the rewards are many times more than what we put in. We don't want to have the purpose of just reaping the benefits, because by doing that, our mind is tainted, our mind is impure, and we're not going to reap the benefits. So we don't want just to donate to help people with the mindset that we're going to reap the benefits, because we'll be taking advantage of their unfortunate situation. Raise it here. Accept my donation so that I can be wealthier in the future. That's wrong. We won't be able to reap the benefits when we do that. When we help other people, when we save other people, like firefighters, for example, or policemen, they put themselves at risk to cultivate merits as well. So anything that we do to help other people on a moral basis, and they benefit from our assistance, our contribution, it will result in merits. And that's external challenges, because it requires resources for you to make that investment to reap the return. There are also internal challenges as well. It's very difficult for people to overcome their selfishness. And we all are selfish in some way. And it is not easy for us to overcome our selfishness, because by nature our ego will not allow us. It follows the principle of survival of the fittest. We all want to be in a situation or a condition or environment that we can survive best. Our ego automatically will push us towards an environment that is most favorable to increase our survival. And so by giving away, by doing charitable giving, sacrificing your resources, you're going against your egoistic nature. And so it is not easy to overcome that. You have to really fight yourself to overcome that egoistic nature. For example, if you are a person who likes to have power and control, and you're used to that already, and everybody in your team respects you, and you have command in your team, and all of a sudden your boss one day says, I'm going to take that away, and I want you to now report to this person. It is so difficult to be fully supported because your power has been taken away from you. And it is difficult to submit to other people because you're used to power and control. You will have to really fight yourself in order to be supportive and to cultivate merit. So it's not easy to cultivate merit. You have to really fight yourself to overcome the egoistic nature. Understanding the motivation behind doing good deeds. Just because a person does a good deed doesn't mean that is selflessness. Right? When we give and we don't understand our intention, we can easily fall into traps that could hurt our merits. For example, if you give with the mindset that you are better than the recipient, then that is arrogance, and that could hurt our merits. Just because a person gives doesn't mean that it will generate merits. We have to understand our motivation. What is behind that giving? Why are we giving to that person? If we don't understand our motivation, then we can accidentally think that we are so better than the person who is receiving our gifts. And even if we have that awareness and say, okay, I will not look down on the person who receives my gift, my offering, there's another trap that we can fall into, and that is to seek for karmic returns, right? Karmic rewards. We give because we know that it will give us karmic rewards. By doing that, although we give even with respect to the recipient, but that is not selflessness because we're hoping that that person, either that homeless person or that venerable master, will accept our gift so that we have some karmic rewards in the future. So that's another trap that we should avoid. By understanding our motivation, we can avoid those traps. One is to not have respect for the recipient. And the other is, even though we may have respect, but we can fall in the trap of trying to reap something in return. Trying to look forward to that merit, to look forward to the karmic return. That's not selflessness because we give with the self-interest motive behind that giving, and so that is not selflessness.